Hi, welcome to Infused Eats, the cooking show where everything is infused, especially me, your host, Matt Lamb. Today, we're making vegan chocolate chip cookies. This episode is brought to you by the Mighty Fast Herbal Infuser. You can save money on my favorite herbal infuser device with the code RuffHouse at theherbalinfuser.com. Here's what you're going to need to make vegan chocolate chip cookies. You need a half a cup of infused coconut oil, 1 1/4 cups of light brown sugar as packed, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1/4 cup of almond milk, 1/4 cup of unsweetened applesauce, 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, and then you're going to need about 1 1/2 cups of vegan chocolate chips. That's about 1 9-ounce bag. Now, when it comes to making your herbal infusion, be sure that you decarb your herbs first in the oven, 250 degrees for 25 minutes. Then proceed with whatever method you are using to make your coconut oil infusion. I'm using the Mighty Fast Herbal Infuser because it's so awesome and it's so quick and easy. You can use any method you want, and I'll put a link in the description to some other methods. Once you have your oil made, you also want to let it cool off. You want to grease or line a big baking dish and preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, we have everything together. Our oven's preheating. Our coconut oil is solidified. That's important. So you want to make sure that your coconut oil that's infused has been solidified back to its cool state. And so coconut oil at kind of cool room temperature is the state that you need it in. So it looks nice and creamy, just like that. So I measured out my half a cup of oil, and I'm going to take a large mixing bowl. Make sure you use a large one because it can be kind of messy if you don't. So get your infused butter, put it in your pan. Also add in the brown sugar. We're adding in our 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I always like to use the real vanilla. It tastes so much better to me. And then using your hand, if you want, a hand mixer is what I prefer here though. Go ahead and cream together that butter, or it's not butter, that's coconut oil, and the brown sugar and the vanilla extract. Okay, now once you've done that, we're gonna go ahead and add in the rest of our wet ingredients. That there was our almond milk. You could also use coconut milk or any kind of vegan milk that you want there. And then the unsweetened applesauce. What we're doing there, we're kind of replacing the egg with the applesauce and the milk. And go ahead and keep mixing that. Wipe down the sides of your bowl until all of your wet ingredients are incorporated together. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and mix together the rest of our dry ingredients, except for the chocolate chips. So we're going to go ahead and add in our flour. We're adding in baking soda. And then we're also adding in salt. Basically, we're making self-rising flour out of all-purpose flour. But just go ahead and make it yourself and keep those ratios the same. Okay, and just mix that, sift it together well. And then we have our dry ingredients together. And I bet you know what's next. So like most cookie recipes, now we combine our wet and our dry ingredients together. And then using a really stiff spatula or a wooden spoon, you can go ahead and just keep mixing that for a couple of minutes until it turns into a really thick dough. And if your dough's not thick enough, add a little more flour. If it's too thick, add a little bit more milk. Okay, now I'm adding in my vegan chocolate chips. I ordered these vegan chocolate chips online on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description if you want to use the same ones. They're dark chocolate, they're really good. And the one bag that I bought was the perfect amount for these cookies, 9 ounces. Okay, so now we have our batter, we added in our chocolate chips, and basically you're ready to make your cookies. I'm using a 1/4 cup scoop because these are going to be big old cookies. I really like the cookies big, and this recipe that I'm showing you here, the baking times and all that are based on these big cookies, but you can make smaller cookies, just reduce your cooking time. And one thing you also want to do is make sure you leave plenty of space for these to spread out because they will melt down and spread out to a lot, bigger round cookie. All right, so we have our cookies trayed up and ready to go in the oven. Now we're going to bake these 10 to 15 minutes, depends on your oven. Like cookies, most of the times you just need to keep a really good eye on them. They can burn quickly, but you should let them cook until they're brown around the edges and the middle of the cookies is set. And so they'll still have this crunchy outside, but be nice and chewy and gooey on the inside. And also these cookies, you want to give them about 15 minutes on the cookie sheet before you transfer them into a cooling rack to finish cooling off. And even when fully cooled off, you can see the cookies are really chewy and gooey on the inside. They're nice and crunchy on the outside. Such a great recipe, especially to be a vegan cookie. You would never guess in a second, in a heartbeat. So I would again like to thank the guys at Mighty Fast Herbal Infuser. They're a great sponsor of ours, and you can save money with the code RuffHouse at theherbalinfuser.com on my favorite herbal infuser device. Hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you did, please check out RuffHouseStudios.com, where we have hundreds more cannabis culture videos made just for you. This is Matt from RuffHouse Studios. Thank you for watching.